Rising live, rising live, rising live, rising live, rising live. So you guys, I've been up for a while. I got a surprise for you guys. I did my makeup. I got up, I got up, did my makeup. I wrote in my journal this morning. I wrote down some things for my day. I did a little bit of meditating, but still have to meditate. I was kind of like, getting things together for my day. And so I'm here now. I was sitting in the chair and I'm like, well, what am I going to do my Rising Live about? And sometimes you have those moments where you're like, I don't know. So those moments where I don't have something exactly planned out, I'll just do a free flow Rising Live. So hey you guys, hey Crown Up Nation, it's your girl Danny Royal, and we are free flowing today. And so for starters, I hope that you guys got a chance to see the 3 o'clock video to all of my single ladies. Hopefully you got a chance to see it on yesterday, and hopefully you got a chance to share it with someone else, because somebody else might need some of the words that was given on yesterday. So hopefully somebody got a chance to do that. I have a few surprises I can't wait to post, but just hold on to your hats, because I will be coming back to post. Also, this is a free flow Rising Live, so hey to everybody watching. Hey to those who will be watching Crown Up Nation. I'm so excited about where we're going, what we're doing, and how God is going to move. I'm really adamant, about just going somewhere, not just anywhere, but going where God wants me to go. And I'm excited about just making moves, and I'm excited about, showing up. Oftentimes we as people, we'll say, hey, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And weeks go by, months go by, years go by, and then you never do it, And so for me, I'm like, no, I got to show up, And I believe that consistency is key. I'm sorry, you guys. I don't know why I believe that consistency is key. And when you are consistent and when you are diligent, and when you take your vision serious, people will take you serious. Now that will preach. When you take you serious and your vision serious, people will take you serious and take your vision serious as well. Now, I'm not saying that you won't have people who will try to come and sabotage what it is that you have going on. I'm not saying that you won't have people who are going to be mad about your come up, but understand that you worked hard for that, and you're working towards that. And as long as you know what you've been doing, and as long as you know that there is an ultimate goal, don't allow anything or anybody to get in the way of your destiny and where God wants to take you. Because what happens is people oftentimes get frustrated with you and where you're going and the accomplishments that you're making, simply because they have some desires or have had some desires for themselves that they have not been able to accomplish. But guess what? That's personal. That has nothing to do with you. All you can do is be your greatest self. All you can do is just show up. A teacher rises when the student is ready, And so, God is waiting for us, his people, to show up. And, honestly, I can honestly say through this pandemic and all of everything that's going on, it's been so beautiful to see people tapping into their gifts and, allowing themselves to be full in their own right, and just taking a chance, taking a risk, stepping out on faith, even though it might not look like it at the moment. Just use what you got. You might not have everything that you need. Use what you got, and just because it's small in beginning, or you might have a few followers here, or you might have a few views here, or you might have only maybe 1 or 2 people who purchased this here, or whatever the case might be. Don't quit and don't stop. Why? Because the more that you are consistent, God will send you the people that you need to follow you. He will send, because guess what? We as people anyway, we have an assignment. And so God has already strategically assigned people to your journey and people to your walk. That's why we have our own stories, because this walk is not even about us. It's about the people. It's for the people that God has connected us to and linked us to for our destiny as to where we're going. And so I'm excited about, where we're going, not just as a black people, but as a people, period. Because, when you look past you and you get out of self and you respect the fact that, hey, you know what? I got something to do, and I got a talent and I got a gift, and God put something in me that I got to get out. You get that out by any means necessary, because guess what? It's not about you. This journey that we walk on is not about you. And so I had to learn that as I go, or as I've gone on my journey, and sometimes it's like, oh my goodness. And honestly too, if I must say, going along your journey when you're trying to build and when you're trying to reach a certain goal, ultimately, guess what? It may be a lonely walk. And you got to be okay with it being a lonely walk. And also understand that the people that you expect to support you where you're going and your vision and things that you're doing, they're not always the ones who support you. God sends people strategically right there in your path to support your walk and your journey, because He knew that those people weren't going to support. He knew that those people were going to be jealous. He knew that those people were going to have so much to say. But guess what? You don't stop. You keep going, because there is an ultimate goal. There is a strategic place that God wants to take you to, and that God wants to take me to. And so guess what? What we have to do in return is show up. And when we show up, that's acknowledging to God that we know that there is something that you want us to do, or that He wants us to do, and that there is an ultimate goal, and that it may be bigger than us, and we may not know exactly how it's going to turn out. But guess what? Obedience is better than sacrifice. And I don't know about you guys, but I know in this season for me, I would like to be obedient. I would like to, but not only I would like to, I'm going to be obedient, because the things that I know that God has in store for me, and the dreams that I've had, and so much, I received those things for my life, me as an individual. And I've encountered many people across my path, and being on my journey, as an individual, period. I've come across people who rooted for me, and I've come across people who wasn't necessarily rooting for me. I can recall a time someone said to me, and somebody said to me, at what point are you going to stop trying? And it's so funny, because I was sitting in my living room floor on yesterday, and I was like, I chuckled a little bit. I chuckled within myself. And I said, oh my goodness, they really said that. And this has been a while ago, but I'm like, they really said that. And I said, shoot, I'm never going to stop. I'm never going to stop trying. I'm never going to stop being my great. I'm going to always show up. Why? Because there's an ultimate goal that's not even about me. And then I have people that are counting on me. And then too, you don't know how great you will be or how great you can be if you don't put forth any effort. If you don't put, one foot in front of the other. All God is asking you to do is take a step, and then trust Him along the journey. And guess what? Sometimes, smelling the roses along the way is a beautiful thing, because guess what? God gives you little nuggets, and He gives you little bits of wisdom, and He gives you little gifts and things. And it's not about the big things. Ultimately, honestly, it's about the little things that He just throws in there, saying, oh, my daughter. Oh, my son. Oh, my daughter. Oh, my son. I love her, and I love her, and I love her. And the amazing thing about God is that, He can give to me and give to you all at the same time. He can be there for you and be there for me all at the same time. He can hear me and hear you all at the same time. And that's what I love about Him. The fact that He is omnipresent, you guys. And so while I'm on my journey and you're on your journey, and this one is doing this and this one is doing that, guess what? He's rocking out for all of us. And guess what? He's blessing all of us. And guess what? There are seasons and there are times, and everything has a season and everything has a time. And guess what? I believe that it's my season and it's my time. And if you believe that it's your season and it's your time, guess what? We have work to do. And I'm challenging you. I'm challenging you to do the work, show up, be authentic in your own right, because God has assigned people to you, and He has assigned you for a specific task and a specific assignment, a specific journey, a specific something that He needs you specifically to do that only you can do. And guess what? You're either going to do it voluntarily or you're going to do it involuntarily. And guess what? I don't know about you, but in my journey, I don't have time to be doing anything involuntarily. I just want to say, okay, God, where do you need me? What do you need me to do? How can I be at service to you? I'm here to serve, and that's what I used to say all the time, and I tell people all the time, I'm here to serve. That's why I can do it and just get up on here, and talk to you guys about different things, because I'm here to serve. This is not about me. And guess what? My hard work will pay off. People will sow seeds in my life. People have sown seeds in my life thus far. My streams of income will flow, like rivers of living water. And I'm speaking it into existence as of right now. I will have more than one stream. My legacy will be set. My children will have something. They will not just have something, but they will have an abundance of what I am leaving behind, coming before them, and so these are things that we have to speak along our journey, because as we speak into our journey and as we speak life into our journey, guess what? People are looking back at you. And guess what? The universe hears, the atmosphere hears, God hears, and not only does God hear, the enemy hears that too. And so He knows how to get you distracted off of things that you don't need to be distracted of, so you won't get to your ultimate goal, so you won't get to your ultimate destiny. But guess what? Not this, sister. I've come so far and I've been through so much. And guess what? I have actually reached some high highs, and I've reached some low lows. And guess what? I'm still going strong, and I'm going strong by the grace of God. Hey, Ash, I'm going strong by the grace of God. I believe that, God does things on purpose. He doesn't do anything by accident. And when we can get into alignment with His divine plan for our lives, what happens is we step outside of ourselves. And then when we step outside of ourselves, we look at things from God's lenses. And when we look at things from God's lenses, we can take on God's perspective. And when we take on God's perspective, we can now move in the way in which He wanted for our lives all along, because we're aligning. And when you're in alignment, guess what? You start to want and think and ask for things that God has already set for your life anyway. That's what being aligned is ultimately. And so as we go along on this journey, you have to understand, like I said, it may be lonely, and that's okay. People may like you, and people may not like you. Guess what? People may hate, and people may not hate. But guess what? Ultimately, your job is to show up. My job is to show up. It's not about anybody else. I don't care if you are a bank teller. Your job is to show up to the bank and do what you are supposed to do according to that job. You don't know who God wants you to minister to from bank telling. If you are Ubering, I don't care if you are Uber driver. It is your job to Uber drive if God put that in your spirit, because guess what? You don't know what blessing is assigned to you being obedient from being an Uber driver. If it's your job to mother or father or parent somebody, even if you did not have those children, on your own, like by yourself, or maternity, you did not birth them. Guess what? It is your job to mother or foster them, because guess what? You don't know what abundance is going to come out of your obedience. And so at this point in time, I am challenging you all to be abundant in your own right. Be authentic in your own right. Nobody can get what God has for you but you. But guess what? You have to show up. And guess what? Whether it's a lonely walk or it's filled with people that are assigned to your journey, guess what? It is your job. It is your job to show up. It is your job to trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He'll direct your path. It is your job to have faith. Whether it's mustard seed faith or whether it's big faith, guess what? It is your job to have faith, because guess what? You are expecting God to come through for you, whether you believe Him or not. You might believe him for one thing, but then don't believe him for something else. But I can guarantee you, at some point in your life, you expect it for him to come through. And the same way you expect for him to come through, he's expecting and he's requiring those things of you. And the funny thing about it is, he doesn't force himself onto anybody. He's so gentle. He's so gentle in his way and so gentle in his right. And he's like, hey, so daughter. Hey, so son. So when you going to do that? When you going to do that? And you're like, yeah, Lord, but I don't know. I mean, I really want. And he's like, I've been patient with you, right? I've been really, really patient. So you don't want to hear him say, well, what hindered you? Well, what hindered you? Hey, y'all, Rising Live, what hindered you? You don't want to hear him say that. I don't want to hear him say, well, I gave you this tool, and I gave you this tool, and I equipped you here, and I equipped you there, and I sent this person, and I sent that person. But what hindered you? Well, why couldn't you quite reach your goal? Who was in the way? It was you in your own way. And so I'm challenging you again to get out of your way. Because guess what? When you get out of your way, you can put and allow God to be in the way. You put yourself at an advantage. You put yourself at a place to qualify for things that you didn't even qualify for because of your obedience. And so I'm at this place where I'm like, God, well, what you want me to do? Okay, so you want me to do that? All right, so I'm going to do that. You want me to go over there? All right, I'm going to go over there. You want me to say that? Okay, I'm going to say that, Jesus. Okay, this is what I'm doing because I recognize that this walk and this journey is not about me. If you find me being transparent and if I shed a few tears along the journey, guess what? It's a part of my growing pains. It's a part of my story. It's a part of where he's taking me to. And guess what? Somebody else is getting cleared of that junk that they had going on that they didn't know how to get released from. And he just so happened to use me as a tool so that they can be free. And guess what? I don't know what makes you happy, but that gives me joy. That brings me so much joy to know that somebody is getting free from my story because I recognize ultimately that it was not about me. I recognize that the journey has been set already, and all I have to do as an individual is show up. Show up. Y'all, I'm telling you, I didn't know what I was going live about, but guess what? The Lord knows how to give you words as you go. And this is how I know that I am called to speak to somebody because, some days I don't know what to say. Some days I'm like, okay. Some days I'm like, all right, I got it, y'all. I got this topic and it's really, really good. And then some days I'm like, oh, man. Okay, God, y'all understand that I be praying. I pray before I get on my live some days because I'm like, God, I just want you to get the message that you want me to convey in this day. And, everybody is in different seasons and different spaces in their lives. And like I said, there are seasons and there are times. And guess what? It is our job to know what season and time you're in. And that comes from spending time with God and asking him and checking in with yourself and checking in with him saying, God, well, what is it that you want me to do in this time? What do you have for me to say? Even if you don't feel adequate or capable, say, God, give me the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding as to how to move for this specific journey and for this specific thing. Because guess what? I know that there is something that you want out of this. And there are some things that I'm desiring. And in order to do it, I had to answer the call. And so with me answering the call, sometimes you got to go kicking and screaming like, God, I don't even really want to do that. Like, Lord, really? Okay. Jesus, because I've been there. I've been like, oh God, oh man, I don't know if I want to do that. Hey sis, Rising Live, I don't know if I want to do that. But okay, God, since you said, I know that the blessing is bigger on the other side. I know that it might not look good right now, but guess what? I know that you're taking me somewhere. I know that it might not feel good and it may be lonely and that's okay. But guess what? I know that there's an ultimate goal that's bigger than me. And so when you realize that this thing is bigger than you and you can't do it on your own strength, that's when you ultimately give God the permission to enter and have his way ultimately. And you realize that you couldn't, when you realize that you can't do this thing without him anyway, ultimately, guess what? You put yourself in an advantage. Why? Because ultimately, this thing is not about you. And when you realize that it's not about you, you can move freely. It don't matter what somebody says. It don't matter. Guess what? You don't know how many people have spoken negative words over my life. And guess what I say? Oh, you know what? Oh, I don't receive that for my life. I don't receive that. That's what you, okay. That's what you believe. But what report will you believe? What has God spoken to you? And so my journey is not about how somebody feels about what I'm doing or where I'm going. My journey is, what is God saying? What is he telling you? What has he communicated to you? You know, and are you showing up? Once he gives you the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to be present, are you showing up? Because if you're not showing up, it's like, what are you asking him for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding for? What are you asking him to order your steps for? What are you trusting for? You know, and so I had to gain momentum. And sometimes we move and operate better under pressure. Maybe I do. I don't know. I'm feeling like I do, because honey, it's my journey has been up and it's been down and it's been up and it's been down and it's been up and it's been down. But like somehow, you know, I've overcome so many things. We overcome by the blood of the Lamb and through the words of our testimony. And I can recall myself, asking God, Lord, give me my own story. Give me my own song. And honey, when you ask God for something, he will give it to you. He didn't tell you how it's going to look like. He didn't tell you who was going to be in it along the way. He didn't say what it was going to consist of. You just said, and you didn't even ask. You wasn't specific in asking God, well, give me my story like this. No, you say, God, give me my own story. I said, I wasn't specific either. I said, God, give me my own story, because I don't want to follow in these footsteps of this person and this person. And from what I see. When I was a little girl, I used to see other people get in trouble and see other people go through certain things that I didn't want to go through. And then when I found myself as an adult, I found myself going through certain things, and I'm like, dang, I didn't have to go through that, or I didn't have to experience that, but I'm here. And I'm here because, that's what I chose. But I can appreciate knowing that that's what I chose, because when you choose, you choose. But when God chooses for you, that means you have gotten now out of your own way, and you have now gotten in line with what God has in store for you, and now you can fully function and operate according to his words and his will for your life. So you guys, I love you guys so much. I didn't know what this live was going to be about, so it's no specific topic. This is pretty much a free flow. So if you are just coming in on the middle, catch the replay, and if you or coming at the end, catch the replay. I love you guys so much. Share this video. And don't forget to crown up. Don't just crown up today, crown up tomorrow, crown up the next day, crown up the next day, crown up the next day after that. People will get on your nerves. People will say things about you. People will not understand your path. People will not understand your journey, and that's okay. But it has to be okay with you to know that it's okay. It has to be okay with you to know that it's okay. And for me, it's okay. And guess what? And even once you acknowledge that, you still got somebody on your team, because I'm on your side. I'm on your side, because my goal is that everybody wins. Everybody owns their own stories. Everybody takes up their royal places in the kingdom and be their authentic selves and be their royal great. Because guess what? We are assigned to something. And all God wants us to do is show up. I love you guys so much. Share this video. Don't forget to put your crowns up in the comment section once you share the video. See you when I see you. Have a blessed day. Peace.